Hey everybody, I hope and pray you're doing well. This is the final part of me breaking down the designs of the base roster of MK1, and a little bit of DLC. I may revisit this series in the future for MK1, but as for now, I don't really got plans for it. Also, before I begin, I want to thank you all so much for the love and support you've shown with my last video, and speaking of my last video, I got a couple of shoutouts here. First goes to Greg Williams 4926 for accidentally finding the Easter egg in the thumbnail, and Michael Williams 8609 for actually commenting what the Easter egg is. I hope you enjoyed this little Easter egg game that I do with the thumbnails. There is another one in this video's thumbnail, so be the first one to comment it and I will shout you out in the next video. Alright, without further ado, let's begin.
Li Mei.
At a quick glance, Li Mei is easily mistaken for Mileena due to the two sharing a similar primary color and both being females with black hair. But unfortunately, this Outworlder has a less interesting design than Mileena, despite having varied textures, an interesting hairstyle, and asymmetry elements. But it makes sense for her personality and character being an enforcer of order and justice. Her design is meant to be straightforward. The intentionality behind her appearance is subtle, with an Outworld symbol on her sash and back and an Umgadi tattoo. On her arms and waist, Li Mei has a spiked metals, a design exclusive to her, and on her side a Polynesian Laomano, a reference to Li Mei's actress Kelly Hu's heritage. The fact that Li Mei is modeled after and voiced by Hu, along with having references to her in her design, is probably the most interesting thing about her design.
Li Mei wins. Kenshi.
My favorite MK1 design, hands down. The first time I saw his design, an emotional response was pulled from me. This is dope. It strikes a wonderful balance of both modern and traditional, a fusion of both Spec Ops and Samurai aesthetics, two of my favorite aesthetics. The dark red and grayish black work great with each other and the metals complement the fit well. The shape language throughout the design is aesthetically pleasing, the textures make sense and aren't distracting. Despite being mostly covered, you can see Kenshi's Yakuza tattoos peeking out, hinting at his backstory. Overall, this is the best Kenshi design in my humble opinion.
Kenshi wins. Baraka.
The best looking iteration of Baraka. At a quick glance he looks exactly like his past iterations, but with a closer look we can see why this design is an improvement. It's his shape language. With his spikes protruding from his upper arms and chest, MK11 started this design choice, but the spikes seem to be too perfect, while MK1's adds to the design with asymmetry and color. The fleshly reds scattered throughout his design make him look less clean and bland, which was the issue with his previous designs, an issue that isn't really evident until compared to MK11 and especially MK1's designs. Baraka maintains his staple features and color. This iteration has a tribal tattoo adding to his asymmetry. Just like the rest of the cast, there are little details scattered throughout his design, piercing on his Tarkatan blades, metal ring on the leg, etc. Overall, Baraka's design does a fantastic job providing us with subtle Tarkatan lore.
Baraka wins. Ashrah.
Clothed in metallic gold and pure white, along with wing-like patterns, this angelic-looking design reflects the aspirations of purifying herself from her demonic origins. Hints of her demonic past are present in her face, details that are now canon for MK's demons, as Serena also has these details. I like how these features don't come off as generic. The way her hair is braided reflects the patterns throughout her outfit, a pattern that I'm personally a huge fan of. To be honest, I'm a huge fan of her entire design. Overall, Ashrah's design is less generic than her past iterations, aside from the hat of course, a memorable part of her older designs that is somewhat present in MK1, just not in the base design.
Ashrah wins. Nitara.
Another 3D era character that has undergone some serious redesigning, no longer having black long hair but instead a unique hairstyle that I'm not that big of a fan of. She's modeled after Megan Fox and awkwardly voiced by her as well. I'm impressed by the design of her wings and I appreciate how different her clothing style looks compared to the rest of the roster. With metals, shape language, and textures being a defining visual in her appearance, there are little details scattered throughout that add to her design, and one piece in particular that prompts curiosity. She wears red, a low saturated maroon, a little bit of purple, and interesting patterns that work together to give off a vampire aesthetic. Overall, her design strikes a good balance of edgy and smooth shape language. I wish, however, they made more references to her Deadly Alliance design, but it is what it is.
Nitara wins. Geras.
Rocking a more human-esque look compared to his MK11 counterpart, he still has the indented lines, which are a unique touch, kind of reflecting the cracks in dry ground. Not sure if that was intentional or not due to his sand abilities. The metallic tattoos add to his design as they look more like paint than ink, giving the unique design personality. The wrappings and wrestling/warrior-like belt add to his design, hinting at his fighting style. Interestingly enough, the outsole on his boots curve up like others from the roster. However, this doesn't mean his clothing style is lazily designed when compared to the roster. There's a ton of intentionality with his clothes, from the patterned sashes, intricate medals, and style of pants. Overall, I'm happy Geras has returned, as I believe his design is quite unique and interesting, especially in MK1.
Geras wins. Havik.
A shocking design, especially for those who are familiar with the character. The graphic fidelity of this game makes his design bold and distinct, not just from the rest of the roster, but from his previous designs as well, with his hairstyle specifically and the shape language of his outfit being sharper/edgier than his previous iterations. His color palette is preserved, however, with him rocking maroon, black, and silver. There's brown thrown in his design, which just makes his design feel more grounded. The asymmetry is also preserved, which is a nice nod to Havik's connection to the Chaos Realm, which in this game's timeline doesn't technically exist yet. His design plays on his gimmick, with his cuts and exposed flesh. The leathers and metals are a nice touch. A big part of his design is how the team designed his left arm, as mentioned previously. It isn't just a sleeve, but instead is busier and more intricate. His symbol on his chest is more off-center than his previous design, but overall, MK1's Havik hits the right visual beats that make Havik Havik, while also emphasizing how much of a threat he can really shape out to be.
Havik wins. Quan Chi.
The first Mortal Kombat DLC character of MK1, and they did phenomenal with his design. He looks like Quan Chi. A design that maintains his previous aesthetic with the same colors and MKX shape silhouette. The sharpness around his neck don't seem practical, but they fit with his villainous aesthetic. I like how this game provides a story behind Quan Chi's ghostly appearance. The red markings have a painted look adding to his design. His attire is fitted with layered pieces, a sash/cape, chaotic patterns, rope, gloves, boots, and an ornament of sorts. The colors in his design are simple yet effective. The black contrasting with the turquoise is great, and then there's a little bit of detail with that ornament. Overall, I believe this is a great updated look that hits all the right beats.
Quan Chi wins. Omni Man.
MK1's first guest character and first DLC character, the Viltrumite father of it, has a design that is one-to-one to his comic and animation iterations, just in higher fidelity. You can really see the textures and stitchings of his simple suit. To many, his design doesn't fit in the MK universe, but the devs chose sticking true to his original design. However, not adding a more MKified version of his costume as an alt skin was a missed opportunity in my opinion. They did so well with the face model, as it is more fitting for the character than just giving him his voice actor's face. Overall, they did well bringing Omni Man's design into MK1.
The realms are mine.
Omni Man wins. Peacemaker.
Booyah!
Out of all the characters whose face model is based off a real person, Peacemaker looks the most accurate and consistent. His design is one-to-one from his show's iteration and is pretty close to his comic book counterpart. The team also got the textures right. Like Omni Man, this design doesn't fit well with the MK universe with its bold, simple colors, little details, and glossy helmet, but again, points for accuracy. And even though his design may look weird or just downright ugly for a lot of people, his design is memorable. It has a memorable silhouette, which is huge for designing a character. Overall, his design is unique and surprisingly has storytelling elements.
Peacemaker wins.
And that wraps up this video. Thank you all so much for making it to the end. Thank you for all those who've been watching my videos recently and gone through all these character design videos. I do plan on doing them for other fighting games. As an artist, I really do appreciate the visuals and details and just like the psychology and color theory and all that goes into character design. So I really do enjoy making these videos. And if you enjoy watching these videos, whether it be the character designs or the other ones, please leave a like and subscribe. It will mean so much. There's a couple goals I'm trying to hit, such as 3,000 watch hours. I am literally halfway there, and trying to get 1,000 subs. So if you can help out with that in any way, shape, or form, thank you so much. But enough of that. Love you all. Take it easy, and Godspeed.